Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last few videos that I've done, I've had lots and lots of requests, both here on YouTube and on Instagram, to show how I do my foiling. So I think I'll do two separate videos because I want to really show you guys the whole process for both methods that I use from start to finish. And you guys know I hate uploading massively long videos. So I will do a separate one for print foiling. So when you just print on laser and how you foil something like that. And also glue foiling, using stencils versus just using a paintbrush as well. So yeah, be sure to check them both out. You might learn, tips and tricks that you can apply to, your own foiling. And I will go through all the kind of all the mind blank, all the things that you need. The glue, the foils, the papers, all that stuff. And it is all linked in my Amazon cart below as well. So yeah, let's get started. Before I forget, I do want to add that when you're buying your acetate and vellum, just make sure that you're buying it for the right printer, because I think the acetate is pretty generic, but I know the vellum does come, the vellum can be either for inkjet printers or laser. The one I have is suitable for both, so that means I can print on it at home and just keep it unfoiled, just keep it black and white, or I can take it to a printer shop and have them print on it with laser and I can foil it. So just something to be aware of, that make sure you read the description of the items that you're buying, and you're buying ones that are suitable for the purpose that you want to use it for. Obviously, if you're doing the glue method, then it doesn't really matter. I'll show you what I use, what software program I use to make my own designs. Yeah, obviously you can, if you're doing something simple, you can just use Word or Pages. Even if you're just doing writing, you would just create a document. I always do horizontal layouts, because then you can get two sheets per, you'll get two pages per A4 page to use. So let me just show you some of the ones that I have right now that I haven't foiled. So if you are using a printer to foil, which is what we'll talk about first, you do have to have a laser printer. So an inkjet printer, which is what most people have at home, is not going to work. A laser printer, the foil basically adheres to the ink. It sticks to the ink through heat, and that's how you get this kind of foiling effect. You can do it for writing, you can do it for images, you can basically design anything at all. I think I've shown you my sloth ones, the umbrella ones. You guys have seen all the designs that I've done. So, you basically get your design on the page, whether it's fonts, writing, words, quotes. So I've got my name there. Here I've got two different ones. These were freebie quotes from Create with Pen. And I do use my silhouette program just to kind of roughly size them out 5x7 so that I know they will fit in my Stalogy like that. Here again, so these are all on vellum. Vellum is slightly less transparent, so it's still transparent, but it's more frosted. More quotes. This one I'll have to find out the shop I purchased that. This is from Silhouette Studio. And then some of these I just designed myself. So this is on acetate. Acetate is completely transparent, clear piece of plastic. They use these in the overhead projectors back in the day. So when you print these, you do have to be careful, because obviously with this, you can tell which side, the ink is printed on. because that side is fairly, you know, it's kind of pale. You know, this is the front of the page. On these, the front and the back look pretty similar. It's pretty hard to tell, so just keep an eye on it. As a general rule, the kind of very, very glossy and very clean look is not the side that's been printed. You want the sort of matte look of the ink. If you're not sure, I would cut a piece out and test it with foil first, because you don't need this whole thing unless you're doing A5 size anyway. Like for my B6, even once I've cut it in half, I will have like corners left, so I generally can do a quick test. This one again, I have got one massive design, but I like the look of, you know, what that's going to look like once I cut it in half. So it's just like a paint splatter I designed myself. These polka dots also, I just designed myself. You just make a circle in your software program and kind of just spread it around. And the last one is stars, which I also designed as well. So these are all on acetate. They just have that backing paper on them. So I will show you how to foil the acetate and the vellum using this printed method. So I don't have a laser printer at home, so I just designed my files on Silhouette, saved them as a PDF file, put them on a USB and took them to my local like print shop, which if you're in the UK, I took it to Ryman's, like the stationery shop. They do printing. There is a standard charge of like £2, like just for the, you know, USB, and then any page that you print for black and white is 20 pence. So it's better, you know, to kind of, maybe you could do one as a test, but if you're doing, you know, them often, it's better to get as many as you can in one go, so you don't have to pay that £2 charge each time. So it's really simple once you've printed them. So easy. You just have a laminator on. Now my laminator is very, very old and cheap. Like I bought it for when we started homeschooling, which was like maybe 6 or 7 years ago. So it's not the best, but I do have a few tricks that I can, you know, definitely share with you guys to get the best out of your printing. I do, like, it is a little bit of a hit and miss, and I think that's to do with the foil you use. Like, yesterday I used new to me foil, which is from the Heidi Swap foil, and it wasn't great. You can see there's lots of bits missing. Yeah, I had to redo it. I had to do it twice, which meant the sheen has kind of gone from it. It's not as holographic as it should be. So if you run this in your laminator twice, you will lose the kind of sparkliness that this has. You can see the foil that I use is Deco thermal heat, something like that. It's linked in my Amazon cart, and it does seem to have the best results that I have seen anyway. And this as well, like this is just my favorite. It's just so beautiful. And sometimes, you know, in well, there's a little bit missing there, but you know, yeah, sometimes acetate will foil better than vellum. Sometimes it's the other way around. I haven't really sussed it out exactly. I think obviously if you have a better laminator, a better quality laminator, you're going to get better results basically. The acetate, you can see it does warp a little bit. It does kind of bend and crinkle a bit, but that again might just be my laminator because it's not a very good one. So just play around with your settings. Again, if you don't want to test it out on a whole design, measure out the page. So like I've got this jelly page, which is B6 size. So I know whatever I need is this size. So I would just measure out the design, cut around it, and test out the foil using the spare scraps, you know. So this will just still be black. Put a little bit of foil on it and do the method that I'm going to show you now with just a little bit, and play around with your settings and see what, you know, what works before you commit to, like, you know, a whole sheet, and in case it kind of ruins it or wrecks it or whatever. So I measure out my pages sometimes. Other times I don't. I will just cut them in half. So let's do let's do this one. So this quote is I bought as a digital file from Etsy, but I've added the stars to it myself because I just thought it would make it look a little bit nicer. So this is all real time, guys. I've just folded it in half roughly, so I know, you know, I'm not going to need the whole. This is still too big for my B6, but I'm going to just foil it and then I will measure and cut it down to size after. You can do it the other way around if you want. I'm just too lazy to do it right now. And let me go grab my foil, switch the laminator on, and I will be back in a second to show you. Okay, so I have my laminator, it's quite hot, and then my foil. So I could use this like blue foil, the star hollow, or just the plain hollow. But because I kind of do want it a bit sparkly, I'm going to go for the silver sparkly one. So you can see these are just scraps from pieces that I've cut off that I will use. So this is the size that it comes. It is 6 inches by 12 inches, so 6 across, 12 width. And you'll see this side is the very, very shimmery, sparkly side. This side is the dull side. So you do want the dull side on top of the writing so that the sparkly is showing. So when it sticks to the page, this is the side that you will see. So I normally just flip it over, measure it out roughly. Obviously I have got all this scrap here, but you know, I don't. This is why if you're kind of wanting to save on not waste your foils, you can cut it down to size before you do it. I'm just not bothered. I will go to like the edge of the design as much as possible there, and like here I know I don't need any of that, so just cut that off. And I'm kind of butchering it, but I'll put that spare there. Okay, so you want to make sure that every bit of black ink is covered in the foil. Okay, it's covered by the foil. I've got a bit of excess vellum on either side, which is okay because there's no ink there. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now you need just a piece of paper. I'll get one from here. So just to print a piece of paper and fold it in half. Now I have seen people on YouTube put this through the laminating machine just like this. I've also seen people do it and seen the foil get chewed up in the machine. So I think you do get better results, but I personally just don't want to risk especially because I know my laminator is not great. I don't want to risk that. So I always put it in. Now, when you feed it through the laminating machine, I was feeding it with the foil on top like this, and I was not getting great results until I started flipping it over. So for some reason, when the rollers roll over the foil itself, like underneath like that, it seems to give you much better results. So again, try it. Different laminators will have different results. Mine definitely is, I need to have the foil on the bottom end. So I'm just going to put that in there and give it one last look to make sure that I have covered every part of the ink in foil. And you want to feed it with the side that you have just folded into the laminator. And I am going to just show you guys this in real time so that and then I have also got my acetate ready. So I cut that big paint splatter that I showed you guys in half, and I will take this backing off in a minute, but I'm going to measure out the foil for this, and I will just fold these star ones up and put them back in the tube, because even though they are smaller, they can be used for, you know, different projects. And sometimes what I've done, like if I've got a quote, for example, actually I think it was in my Netflix and Chai one. But what I had done is I used all my scraps up for this. So here you can see it's like silvery. So I put like a strip of silver on there. Then this was a bigger piece. And then again here was just hollow foil. So you can use your scraps up, because you don't want to put like, let's say if this is your scrap of, you know, foil. You don't want to put it over the writing, like halfway, but if you put a scrap from here to here, you could do different colors. So you could have like a pink foil there, blue foil here, yellow foil here, you know. So you can mix and match. The main thing is you're making sure every single bit of ink is covered up. So you can see it is kind of bent and warped a little bit. The vellum seems to straighten out much better. And let me zoom you in so you can see which way around that is. Okay, and that is the final product. So I'm pretty happy with that. I can see like a tiny, nope, I can't actually. Oh yeah, there in the D you can see like a tiny bit missing. I'm not bothered. If I was to put another piece of foil just there and put it through the laminating machine, it would totally dull this. So I am very, very happy with that, and I will cut it down to size when I'm ready to use it. And look at that. You can also use the negative in craft projects. You can add them to like scrapbooking. You can add it to your planner. It just looks just as beautiful. You could put this on like black cardstock. How gorgeous would that look? So yeah, well, like that, I guess. So do keep these, don't throw them away. They are, you know, really handy for other projects. Okay. So that was the vellum, and I will show you now the acetate. Oops. So it's the same process, exactly the same. This time I think I will use just the hollow foil instead of the sparkly hollow, like the stars. I would just use this. Okay, and again, the same thing. And I will show you the difference. You'll see the acetate does kind of fold over a little bit. I can take more off there because there's not much ink there. Okay, put that in. So this is a really cheap way of making your own designs, but also to personalize it, because, you know, nobody else is going to be having the same designs in their planner as you. So it's a really great way of making your planner unique. Just going to wait for my laminator light to go on. Oh, there we go. And again, I've put the foil on the bottom of my laminator. I will just fold these up in the meanwhile. I think you get about maybe five sheets per packaging, and they do kind of, you know, they're not cheap. They're like £6 or £7, but when you take in, you know, how much you would be paying for like foiled acetate or vellum plus postage, it doesn't work out, you know, too much more. Well, actually it works out cheaper for sure. So I always just kind of hold the acetate down a bit to keep it flat, and let's see how it has worked. Okay, so there we go. That is my paint splatter acetate that I will, I'm not sure why it's got all these like dotted. I think what happened is I stuck this acetate a bit close to like another print, and some of the ink must have come off, because you can see on there, but honestly that just looks even nicer to me. So that is what it will look like in my Stalogy. Yeah, very, very happy with that. That came out perfectly. I can't really see any missing spots on there. And again, that is the negative. So that is print foiling, guys. So easy. And if you have a laser printer, or your library has a laser printer, stationery shops, your parents, as an old, you know, they might have like an old laser printer. In fact, now that I say that, I'm pretty sure my dad has a laser printer, so I will be probably trying it out next on his. So yeah, that is it. You cut it down to size and put it in your planner. So that is method 1 of foiling, which is the print foiling. And then I will show you now how to do glue foiling if you don't want to use this print method.